This is the first of a series of videos for victims of deed fraud to outline steps you should consider for your best chance to get your property back. I am not an attorney, and this is not legal advice. Every situation is different because the criminal's actions, law, and law enforcement is different city by city, county by county, and state to state. My name is Debbie Gottlieb. I've been a real estate agent or broker since 1994. I was a victim of deed fraud, and when a criminal pretended to be my dad, he sold my deceased father's small Scottsdale home to Zillow in 2019 using real estate agents and a title company. Since then, I've worked with law enforcement, state and local leaders, and attorneys across the United States and have a passion to help victims and stop this crime, thus created Title Crime LLC. Title Crime does not employ attorneys or detectives, so Title Crime LLC is not giving you legal advice, but I know that most victims have no idea what happened or what they need to do next. The information contained should guide deed fraud victims, giving you the knowledge to be able to ask the right questions and make a plan so that hopefully you have the best chance to get your property back. This series is solely focused on deed fraud victims that had absolutely nothing to do with the change of ownership on their properties. If you did not pay your mortgage, taxes, HOA, or signed your deed without understanding the implications, this video may not be for you. But I know how you're feeling right now. When this happened to me, everyone was a suspect. I trusted no one. I wasn't sure if my family was being targeted, and there will be grief, and it's scary, and I found it unbelievable to have companies and government agencies not willing to help me. But you need to know you did absolutely nothing wrong, and there's nothing you could have done to prevent this crime. Many states are grappling with new legislation, and I'll talk about that in another video. My own aunt thought I must have done something wrong if a title company was involved. I want to plead with you not to feel shame or walk away from your most valuable asset, no matter your age or your situation. I'm a real estate broker, and this happened to me. I hit walls, made mistakes, and I'm using my knowledge gained and my experience to help you move quickly to get your property back. People will feel sad that this happened, but empathy or calling your TV station is not going to get your property back. For your information, when an investigative reporter reached out to me, I chose to wait until I got my house back and my criminal was arrested before agreeing to a story, and even then, I was afraid the criminal could hurt me. Additionally, I received a very shady phone call from a company you hear advertising about this crime that wanted to interview me to capitalize on my loss, and which I hung up on. But I want to emphasize that there is hope. Moving fast could be your best outcome. Let me explain the seriousness and reality of this crime. For the criminal, it's pretty easy to do, and the payoff is hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you're a victim of deed fraud, somebody has stolen all of your rights to sell, mortgage, inhabit, live in, potentially protect and profit from your property, and you could lose your property permanently, no matter how long you've owned it. Once deed fraud is out of your name, the criminal can now get a loan on your property or sell it, and that could be detrimental to getting the property back. And the reason for the urgency. There's a law that will be explained to you that may make you feel hopeless, but don't let it stop you. The premise is this. If the criminal sells your property to an innocent or unknowing buyer that pays fair market value, there's something called bona fide purchaser for value, which could protect the innocent third party instead of you. The more tangled up your property gets with more sales, loans, etc., the more difficult it will be to unwind and recover. That's why I urge you to act expeditiously. With my dad's house, Zillow had purchased the house from the criminal posing as my father and put it up for sale, and it was already under contract, so we had to move fast to stop the second sale. I was literally in my probate attorney's office 2 days before Christmas, signing a notice to stop Zillow and the title company from reselling the house. Now, there may be a law in your state that could allow your attorney fees to be paid for, which I didn't know until we stopped working with our first attorney and hired a new attorney. I'll discuss this law in the section on attorneys. You'll find that everyone, such as attorneys and detectives, have their own little piece of the puzzle. While the attorney is working through your legal process to return the deed in your name, the police are trying to find out who the criminal is to prosecute. There are several puzzle pieces, and it's up to you to put the puzzle together, which these videos will help you with. There are three major components with a lot of smaller components that will need your attention and which I'll focus on. One video will help you select a law enforcement agency that will have the best chance of sending your criminal to prison, stopping his or her shenanigans so this doesn't happen to the next property owner, and possibly recovering some of your costs with court-ordered restitution. It is important to get a police report number since you will probably be asked for it by others. Another video will talk about attorneys, and I want to give you some guidance on this. The attorney's job will be as follows: to stop further sales, loans, or liens on your property and attempt to get the property back in your name using existing laws in your state. Now, attorneys do not work for free, and you need to be prepared to pay up front. And I know this could be hard for you. If your property is located in Texas, Detroit, Michigan, or Chicago, Illinois, there might be options you can explore that I will present in another part of the series. Most states have similar laws. If in Arizona, you might discuss Arizona Revised Statute 33-420, which I'll explain a little bit more in a section on attorneys. But it's a law that might help you recover your attorney fees. Other things that I'll address include how to watch over your stolen property, homeowner's insurance. The house is no longer in your name, so it's a gray area and a slippery slope, but your homeowner's insurance protections might be in jeopardy. On the other hand, you might have a small $5,000 part of your policy for fraud, so check it out. Steps you should take to stop your property from being advertised for future sales. Title insurance. When you purchased your property, the seller most likely bought a title insurance policy for you. There is a chance if you purchased your property or refinanced after 2014 that the insurance could cover your attorney fees. Your ultimate goal is to get a marketable title, which means you have the full rights and your title is insurable. My attorney did get the house back with a quitclaim deed, but the title was not insurable. That means the title companies may not issue a title policy. I'll explain what this means in another video. Steps you need to take to stop your credit since your identity has been stolen. What to do if you've had a loan or equity line of credit. And start making complaints with governmental agencies. And formulating lawsuits against real estate agents, wholesalers, escrow agents, title companies, notaries, if there were obvious signs ignored. They lawyer up and walk away. I never got a call from anyone involved telling me they would help me. Their lobbyists are protecting them, and victims must unite to start making them pay for their mistakes. I've looked for resources all over the internet that covers items I think you need to know and came up empty-handed. Honestly, when it happened to me, I was a ping pong ball all over the place, made some mistakes, and I'm going to try to use my experience to help you make your next moves. This is a nationwide problem, and I'll be sharing real cases, possible solutions, and what, if anything, you might do to protect yourself. Please subscribe to my channel and let me know what questions and comments you have or topics you would like to see. And if you want my help to introduce legislation in your state, I would love to help.